Welcome everybody, and today we're doing What If Deku Had Mewtwo's Abilities Part 4. Potentially the finale. We'll see how long I want to go. So, we start this off right after the Stain arc, aka the Spoon arc. And Deku arrives at school in a limo, and the limo on the door, it's a giant spoon. And Deku comes out in a giant spoon robe, and he's like, "Good evening, my people, good evening." As he drops his robe, and you hear a large, like, ka-thunk. And he's like, "Oh, I must have left some spoons in there." As he grabs his spoon, he's like, "I could never forget about my babies." As he walks into UA. And Aizawa, watching this from the window, as Deku arrives in the class, he's like, "Was that really necessary?" And Deku's like, "I need to make an entrance for my fans of Spoonia." And Aizawa's like, "Whatever, dude. You're striving to be a hero, not a businessman." And Deku's like, "I can be both. I can sell my spoons, and I can fight for spoons." As for a couple days now, Aizawa hinted at the final exams happening, and they were going to happen on the Friday. So 5 days later, it's time for final exams, and Deku, listening for all the teams being called, for the last team, Aizawa was like, All Might versus Bakugo and Midoriya. As he says this with his sweat dropping off of him, All Might is like, "I'm gonna get clobbered." And when they go into the exam hall, first there is the Deku's exam, and Deku and Bakugo immediately start off running over to All Might. Deku knows he can teleport, but he wants to stay with Bakugo for now. And as he's running with Bakugo, trying to at least make an attempt to devise a plan, Bakugo is hit in the stomach by All Might, and Deku immediately goes to take a swing at All Might, but All Might and his giant metal spoon collide, and the spoon it bends, and Deku rears his spoon back. He's like, "Spoon? Spoon? Are you okay, Spoon?" As he tries to do mouth to mouth, like, "I can save you, Spoon! I can save you!" And he does a little skit, like, he's like, "Don't, not, no." And he starts crying, like, "No, Spoon!" As he looks to All Might, like, "I will not forgive you." As he starts powering up with his psychic powers, All Might's like, "It was just a spoon." And Deku turns 20 black opal spoons into two perfect spoons. And All Might's like, "His super move?" As he starts walking backwards, like, "Whoa, kid, we can talk about this." As All Might is stabbed in the chest by one of them, and All Might starts gasping for air, like, "That hurt." As Deku starts knocking him around with his spoons, and he hits him up in the air, and he makes all of his spoons. Well, he makes 100 black opal spoons, so now he has 7 perfect spoons. And he flies up into the air, and they all combine into the divine spoon. And Deku is like, "You will feel the wrath for all of the one spoon you have killed." As he spikes All Might down to earth very quickly with his divine spoon. And this sends All Might hurtling into the ground, going 80 feet into the earth. And All Might, still barely conscious, jumps back up to try and make a counterattack, but Deku cuts his neck open with his spoon, and he's like, "Stay." as he spikes All Might back down there, nearly shattering All Might's spine. And All Might's like, how is this kid so powerful? As he jumps up and knees Deku in the face and stuns Deku for a little. And Deku then looks to All Might when his guard is down and his chest is wide open for attack. And he sees a giant sparkle go over All Might's fist as he says, United States of Smash! As he hits Deku in the chest. And All Might hits Deku in the chest. And this sends shockwaves and makes earthquakes around where Deku was hit. And Deku tried to block it with both of his spoons. And what ended up happening, he looks over to All Might, and All Might's like, wait, what? As he sees both his hands being being covered by both of the spoons, and All Might's like, what do you do, kid? As he sees steam start to come off All Might, and Deku's like, reverse. As he sees a giant aura go around Deku, and Deku's like, you thought this was over? As All Might shimmers down to his weak form, and he's like, kid, stop! As he uses reverse on All Might, not seeing that he's in his skinny form, still thinking he's in his buff mode. And All Might buffs back up for a second and does a 100% smash at the attack. But his reverse ability it destroys All Might's smash. It's in it's a United States of Smash, and this colliding with All Might's small attack launches All Might miles away. And All Might wakes up in a hospital, and he sees his most of his torso is cybernetic. And he's like, wait, what happened? And Deku's sitting on the chair like, All Might, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And All Might's like, I'm okay, kid. And I'm sorry. I don't know if I can do this again. All Might says to Izuku, and Izuku's like, what do you mean? All Might's like, with a cybernetic body, I don't think I can even use my quirk anymore. And Deku's like, why? And All Might's like, well, most of my power comes from my waist. Lying, and since it's cybernetic, it can't get to my arms, only my legs. And then I'm technically defenseless if, say, a villain were to have an some type of quirk that would prohibit me from moving. I couldn't do anything to that. Lying also, though, because he just doesn't want to admit he doesn't have One for All anymore. And Deku's like, oh, I understand. And I will become the number one hero for you, All Might. And then as he's walking out of the room, he says, and Spoonia. And the next day, they go over to they have a they go to the summer training camp. And they make a pit stop, and they meet the Wild Pussycats. And Deku and his class are like, wait, why can't we go back on the bus? And the Wild Pussycats are like, well, that wouldn't be that fun. As the blue one makes the ground go down there and makes the tree guys. As eventually they get there around 4 o'clock. The teachers do, and Deku is waiting for them. It's like, you guys are slow, and all the teachers are shocked. Like, wait, how did you get here so quick? And Deku's like, I can teleport. And the blue pussycat is like, that's cheating. And Deku's like, you never said I couldn't teleport. And the blue one's like, go meet up with your class right now. as she jumps at Deku, and Deku teleports to the left of her, like, but I'd rather make food. And she's like, if you make it for your own class, you're off the hook. As Aizawa walks away. Yeah. So, eventually his class makes it there, and they got some training done. And over the next few days, they were making great strides in their powers. Even Deku making nearly mastering his divine spoon technique. And I'm sorry if I was a little distant on there, guys. I was sitting up. And one time at night, his class was doing the test of courage, and that's when they see blue flames start to appear in the forest, and they see 8 figures on a hill, and all of them jump down. Dabi was lighting the fire, so all the figures, well, not just ignore the fact that I said 8 figures. If I'm right about 8 figures, well, lucky guess for me, but it's the entire Vanguard action squad. And they're all going out to do their thing, and Deku remembers, oh right, that scummy kid who tried to hit me. And he teleports to Koda, like, kid, we need to get out of here. There are villains attacking. And Koda's like, why do I care? At least I'll get to meet my mother. This life has made me nothing but pain. And Deku's like, look, kid, not everyone can get what they want. I learned that one time. Someone tried to scam me on one of my spoons. And Koda's like, what does your spoons have to do with this? And Deku looks at him with the most serious eyes, like, are you questioning my spoons? Koda's like, no, sir. And Deku's like, good. Because one of those spoons is worth more than your entire life. And, also, the man tried to steal one of my glorious spoons. And I killed him for it. Just kidding. I took the spoons back and then I whacked him a couple thousand times with it. And Koda's like, why would you do that? And Deku's like, he tried to steal one of my prized possessions. One singular spoon. And Deku and Koda start laughing like, yeah, funny story. And Deku's like, was that you, Koda? Koda's like, no. And then they see Muscular right behind him buff up into his muscular form. And he goes to hit Deku in the back of the head. But Deku immediately turns around and he's like, how dare you interrupt story time, as he powers up once again with his psychic powers. And he makes a perfect spoon. And he's like, you will feel the wrath of all the people you have hurt. And you might have been the one guy who tried to steal one of my spoons once. So, you made me in a bad mood. As he lunges at Muscular, and Muscular's like, wait, what? As he starts getting cuts from all over, and he's like, how are you doing this? And Deku's like, spoon! And, Muscular is like, what are you talking about, kid? And Deku just keeps screaming, spoon! Spoon! Spoon for life! And, well, Muscular is completely confused, like, this kid's wacko. And eventually he gets hit with one of the spoons, and this nearly takes off all the muscle part. And Muscular's like, maybe if we nabbed this kid, he'd be a great asset for Boss. As he puts Deku in a headlock, and he starts walking down to where the portal was, as he noticed there was about 30 minutes until, so he could just wait there. And Deku was nearly unconscious, trying to use any amount of strength, but Muscular was choking him now, trying to get him to go unconscious. And Deku's breathing eventually slowed, and he looked into his heart like, for spoons, guys. For spoons! As he powers up the most he can with his psychic powers, now at 100%. And, he thinks about going Mega, but thinks not, because that is a very draining form. And Muscular jumps at him with all of his muscle in one fist as it collides with Deku's ultimate divine spoon. And it was actually a spork. Oh my god, a spork. And the spork launches at Muscular with all of Deku's power, going straight through his fist. And Muscular's like, wait, what? And Deku starts controlling it, and it goes straight through Muscular's chest. And Muscular's like, impossible. How did you do this with utensils? And Deku's like, it's all in the spoon, my man. It's all in the spoon. I got all my motivation, my life, from Spoon. If it weren't for Spoon, I don't know if I'd want to do anything. But that's why. Here's the life lesson, dude. Spoon. Period. As he walks away, Muscular's like, what just happened? As he realizes, oh, right. The hole in my chest. As he falls onto the forest ground unconscious. And Deku comes back and throws his limp body over, and it actually crashes into the intermediate classes. And Deku then teleports there. It's like, guys, villain attack. And, as I was like, I know, as he runs outside, and Dabi waiting there for him. Deku then puts him into a headlock, like, nope, not this time. Right as Dabi's about to blast Deku's head off with fire, Aizawa locks his cork, and Deku's like, thanks for the save, Aizawa sensei, as he then punches Dabi up into the air, and then gets a little, like, blast of psychic magic, and he shoots it at Dabi, and Dabi is like, wait, he's actually planning to kill? As he tries to fire a giant fire blast, and he sees Aizawa still looking at him with his quirk, and Dabi's like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, as he's sucked into the blast. And Aizawa was expecting Deku to only put enough to knock him out, but he sees the giant blast, but it was actually a thin blast, so it vaporized him, but it also put a little hole in his chest. And it also engraved in the ground, it's a giant spoon. And he lands right next to Muscular, and Muscular's like, you too, right? And Dabi's like, how are they so strong, especially this kid? And that's when the Nomu comes over and starts rushing at Deku, and Deku just folds it into itself, and the Nomu dies from this. And as I was like, you're a lot stronger than me, kid. Why do you even need UA? Deku's like, I want to at least be a certified hero before I expand the Spoon Empire nationally. And as I was like, why can't you just do it here, though? And Deku is like, I need to expand Spoonia to the world. The world will know of my Spoon Empire. And Spoonia will be the most successful business out there, with all the good spoon gadgets, spoon utensils, and, most of all, strong sporks. Oh my god. And my sporks will be the best around. As I was like, you are a one weird kid, Izuku. As Toga then jumps onto Aizawa with her knife, nearly plunging it into his chest, but Deku holds her up in the air. It's like, no, you don't. As Aizawa's like, it's like, Izuku, don't. And Izuku's like, why not? And as I was like, it's not the hero way. And Deku's like, don't you dare quit Star Wars at a time like this. And as I was like, wait, what? And then he realizes, like, Right. And Deku throws her up in the air and is like, you deal with that. And Aizawa was like, Izuku, wait. As he sees one of the villains rushing at him, and he forgot about Toga and Izuku, while he's dodging one of the villains, say Spinner, he has to hold Toga in the air with one hand, and Spinner is getting outmatched even with one of Deku's hands. And Deku then puts psychic power into his feet, knocking Spinner around like one big bumper car. And he's getting owned. And that's when Shigaraki comes out of one of Kirogiri's portals where they're supposed to meet up, and he calls to them like, it's time to leave, guys, as all the villains make an escape that could. The only ones who could were Magni and Dobby, who actually crawled away. But by the time he gets into the portal, he's nearly bled out, so All For One heals him, as you'd imagine. And at the end of this, Deku put a tracker on Shigaraki, and he asked Momo for a tracker. I mean, not Shigaraki, Dobby. And before this, he asked Momo for a tracker and gave it and put it on Dobby, without Dobby knowing. And Deku was surprised that he didn't take it off. And then he gives it to the heroes, and he gives it to Endeavor, like, Endeavor, this is a spot where they are keeping Bakugo. And Deku then realizes, wait, I just realized Bakugo's missing. As in his head it's just like ... At least it's not a spoon, as he walks away. And Endeavor's like, he cares more about his stupid spoons than his literal friend. And Deku's like, spoons are my friends! And Endeavor's like, geez, kid. And, yeah. So the next day, the heroes, have an assault on the, on the League of Villains base. And Endeavor leads the charge by throwing 5, fire javelins into the, bar. And, one of them, hits Kirogiri on the head. And Kirogiri's like, it's like, Master, we have a situation. And All For One's like, I'm on it. As Shigaraki starts trying to deal with the heroes coming in. And eventually, some Nomu actually help. And 3 of them are trying to hit Endeavor. And Deku is just folding them into origami. No, not origami, spoons! And he's folding all of them into spoons as he puts them into his collection. It's like, there is my 8th Nomu spoon. As he puts them in his pocket, like, yes! The spoon empire grows. And eventually, the villains are transferred to where All For One is. And I don't know why I keep trying to say All Might, like maybe All Might's a villain secretly, you never know. And All For One defeated Mount Lady and Vestinus by this time. And Deku eventually arrives there with Endeavor. It's like, who's hurt? And Mount Lady's like, me. And Vestinus like, me. And All For One's like, you. As he dashes at Endeavor and punching him into in the stomach, knocking him out immediately. And All For One's like, I'll give you mercy, kid. Run away while you still can. You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he sees Deku is like, wait, you're the guy who I sold spoons to. As he sets out a divine spoon, it's like, no traitors. As he dashes at All For One, it's like, and All For One's like, wait, he's the guy with the spoon. As he's hit on the head, immediately breaking his mask. And All For One's like, I forgot how strong spoons are. And he's getting smacked by the spoons. And he sends out some of his Nomu spoons, and they're kind of like Pokemon. And they start fighting All For One. Except they're like stick figure Nomus. But they still have the same exact powers. And All For One is getting destroyed by the power of spoonage. And Deku is basically doing ping pong with All For One's body. He's going from one side, smacking him, and then the other side and smacking him. And eventually, he scores on himself like, dang it! My spoon wasn't quick enough! As All For One, with 5 broken bones, he's like, why me? And as he heals himself, and he's like, kid, you got some potential. As Deku folds him into a spoon like, one big angry boy, spoon acquired. And All For One disembodies himself from the spoon, becomes human again. And Deku's like, are you kidding me, dude? That's one less spoon. I'm gonna kill you now. As he stabs All For One through the heart like, no interrupting my spoon collection. And All For One's like, oh, how? As he throws his, imagine people can like, well, All For One, he basically tries to transfer his quirk immediately. And Shigaraki being in the area, he throws it at Shigaraki. And Deku sees a chance to make something All For One threw into a spoon. And he grabs the thing. And he tries to make it into a spoon, but his hand just absorbs it. And Deku's like, dang it! I was so close to having another spoon! And All For One's like, what have I done? As, then he falls unconscious from heart loss. And Deku makes him into a spoon. And it's like, angry boy spoon acquired again. And he goes over to Shigaraki, who is now cowering in fear, like, Master? Just, you. I will kill you. As he starts running at Deku, and Deku's like, spoon. As he puts him into a spoon, and it's like, gray, rusty, crusty lips. Spoon acquired. As, he walks away, and Endeavor, who had woken up and seen the whole thing, is like, you know, I think I'm gonna submit to the way of the spoon, too. As he buys one of Deku's spoons, like, thank you for your service, sir. And Endeavor's like, no problem. Your spoons seem to be something else. As he tries hitting Deku in the forehead, and Endeavor notices it does nothing to Deku. He's like, how dare you try and hit me one of my prized spoons? As Endeavor is like, what? And Deku's like, you will now feel the wrath of spoonage. As he starts knocking Endeavor around, it's like, no hurting Spoonie! As he starts wrecking Endeavor. And we continue to the overhaul arc. And Deku, he internshiped with Sir Nade because he promised him another spoon. And Sir Nade meets him in his office like, here, take it. And Deku is like, spoon from a random stranger acquired. And Deku's like, I've almost finished the spoon decks. All I need is the national spoon decks, and I'll have all the great spoons. And Sir Nade's like, maybe I should tell him a good name. And it's like, hello, I am Sir Spoon Eye. And Deku looks at him like, spoon? And, Sir Spoon Eye is like, yes, I am Sir Spoon Eye. And Deku's like, Dad? As, Sir Nade is like, oh, okay, that's too far, buddy. And, let's go on patrol. And they all start walking around. And Mirio eventually joins them like, sorry, Nade, I am late. And Deku's like, who? And Mirio's like, see, he's Sir Nade. And Deku and Night Eye's like, you mean Spoon Eye? And Mirio's like, oh, you changed your name? And Deku looks at him like, did you now? And Sir Night Eye's like, no, it's definitely Spoon Eye. I've submitted to the way of the spoon, and I love Spoon and only Spoon. I solemnly swear on my god of Spoon. And Deku's like, well done, Spoon Eye. And Mirio's like, whatever. As eventually, Deku is tackled by Eri. He's like, I didn't expect to be tackled by an 8-year-old that one day. But a 3-year-old, this is a new low. As he pushes her off of him, like, what do you want, punk? And Eri's like, help me. And an Overhaul comes out of the dark, and Deku holds on to the little squirt, and he's like, don't hurt her. And we'll just be keeping her. And Mirio's like, let her go, Izuku. And Izuku's like, why? She could make a perfect spoon. And Mirio's like, don't. And Deku's a little intimidated, like, fine. And Overhaul's like, Overhaul, sweetie, you shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. As they walk back into the alley. And a couple days later, they realize she was actually an experiment on Overhaul. And she was being experimented for a quirk-canceling drug. And that's when Night Eye leads the raid on the Chiazaikai. And Deku immediately teleports over to Overhaul. He's like, you. And Overhaul immediately grabs one of Deku's spoons and is like, I'm not afraid to fight. And Deku's like, Spoonie! As he immediately grabs Spoonie, like, did he hurt you? Are you okay? And he's like, I could not let anything happen to you. You're my favorite spoon. As he hugs Spoonie, like, you're what I live for. And Overall's like, wait, what? And Deku hits Overall into a wall, like, shush, it's family time. And Eri's like, wait, what are you talking about, Mr. Spoon? And Deku's like, you are my favorite child. And Eri, you will be raised in the way of the spoon. Praying to the spoon, being the spoon. Yes, being the spoon. And Deku starts to fight Overhaul, but he decides not to use any spoons but a little magic so far, because he wants to challenge himself. And Mirio eventually arrives and gets stabbed by a loose spoon. And no, it's actually a spork. I fooled you all. And Deku is like, no, Sporky! As he grabs its back, like, Mirio, you suck at this. And Mirio, with a hole in his chest, like, I have a hole in my chest. I can't do much. And Deku's like, that's your fault for tripping on my spork. And Overall keeps fighting him. And eventually, he absorbs one of his teammates. And Deku is now using 50%. He's like, this guy's actually harder than I thought. And when Overhaul takes them outside, he actually uses his final form, his big, thick red form. And Deku's like, I'll have to end this quick. As he hits Overhaul with his max power kick. And it sends Overhaul flying up. And he's like, what the hell? And Deku then, with his divine perfect spoon, then spikes Overhaul into the ground like, you will feel the wrath of the spoon! And then he puts a small normal spork directly under where Overhaul will land. And he spikes Overhaul down. And Overhaul's like, no, the spork! I cannot die to a spork! As he falls onto the spork, and in the corner of everyone's face they see Overhaul tripped and fell. And Deku's like, I knew it. As he grabs the spork, like, I can't let this thing go to waste. And he puts it into his collection. And Aries like, yay, we did it, Mr. Spoon. And Deku's like, yes, spoon. As the next month they have the hero festivals. Well, the UA festival. And Deku, as he's getting some utensils for spoons, he runs into what's his name? Gentle Criminal and Lava. And Deku is like, do you guys want spoons? And Gentle Criminal's like, no, but we'll be taking them all. And Deku looks over to La Brava. And La Brava's like, can I have an autograph? And Gentle Criminal's like, be quiet, child. And Deku gives her an autograph. Like, I'm always happy to sign an autograph for a spooner. And he then is like, good day to you, people. And he's yanked on the hair by, well, no, not the hair, on his ear by Gentle Criminal. Like, did you not listen to me? As he tries spiking Deku's head. And Deku just dodges it. Like, for a non-spoon person, you should be ashamed. You should always be submitting to the way of the spoon. It is life. As he starts fighting Gentle Criminal, and he collapses him in on himself and makes him a spoon. It's like, purple spoon acquired. As he walks into the onto the UA festival. And he puts the spoons in his pocket, like, that is acquired. 9,000 spoons out of 9,000. As, no, 9,000, dang it, 9,001! As, then he realizes, I only need the golden rainbow spoon. As he walks into the festival, and he does the entire song. And that's when, waiting for him, is a masked man. And he gives him the golden rainbow spoon. And Deku's like, hallelujah, hallelujah. It is spoon, it is spoon, it is the spoon. As he collects the spoon, it's like the holy spoon. As he puts it into his book, and his book starts glowing. It's like, spoon, spoon, the spoon man. As they all go into one giant spoon, and it's like, this spoon can do anything. It is all powerful and probably can slice and dice the entire world in one touch. And Deku's like, neat! As he touches the ground, and a Category 5 earthquake starts happening. And yeah, you can imagine that decimates the entire town. And that's where I'll be leaving off on this series, guys. Thank you so much for the support on this one. And yeah, this is Myself as Cat signing off. Bye-bye.